Hello, hello. I think that we are live, maybe. Hold on, let me see. Okay, I think that we are live, guys. If anybody is out there, I don't know if anybody has joined yet, but we are officially live now. I have got one of my regular guests on, one of my buddies, Flipping Steve, is in the house tonight. So we are going to talk sports cards. We're going to talk about the football season. We're going to talk about some basketball card stuff, and we're going to just kind of take any sort of Q&A that comes around, and we will go from there. So let me go ahead and bring in the man, the myth, the legend.
Man, that's too much. It's too much. I can't handle the pressure. Too much pressure.
What's going on, man?
Oh, man, just, life. Watching the basketball card market go up a little bit, which is finally relieving a little bit in my case.
Yeah. Well, I think for everyone's case.
I
think everyone's ready to kind of – so this might be a dumb question, but is it for certain that basketball season is starting in December? Is that like –
Yeah, I think the date is December 22nd, and I believe their full systems go.
Because I saw kind of, that maybe there were some players that were going to push back, but then I didn't hear anything about it. And then a lot of people have just been telling me that's what it is. So,
yeah, I think the players are all systems go. The only thing that could stop it would be maybe, issues with the pandemic still, maybe delays in getting it set up on how they're going to play in the stadiums and or the arenas and such.
I just assumed they were going to go back to the bubble.
I don't know how you can run a full go system in the bubble with all the teams, though, because remember there was limited teams in the bubble.
Yeah.
I don't know how they'd run a full NBA season there, and I don't think the players would have agreed to go back.
Yeah,
especially under the fact that the players footed a lot of their own bills and stuff while they were there.
Yeah. Yeah, they might have to do a different type of revenue share or something where it's better for the players or something. I don't know. I mean, I know the league lost a lot of money too, so I don't think there's really there wasn't a lot of winners last year as far as revenues go. Not that I feel sorry for the professional athletes making millions of dollars, but it is what it is. All right, let's say hello to Francisco Marquez. How's it going, man? Alex, Global Sports Card Investor. What's up? Joel Kaplan. Jeremy at Sports Cards Live. How's it going, buddy? Tony E-Man, what's up? Oh, Tony, I've got something you're going to like.
I'm another Dolphins fan in the house.
Yeah, stick around. I've got something. I have a gift for Steve that I'm going to reveal, but I'm not going to reveal it yet because we're only 3 minutes into the live. So I'm going to wait maybe half an hour or so. Half an hour into this 5-hour marathon live stream. No, not really. But I'm going to wait a few minutes. But you'll like this, Tony. You'll like it. All right. Dave from Ohio, how you doing? Gunchar 17. Okay. Interesting. Multiple bubbles would be the go. Yeah, I know. I was thinking kind of the same thing. Are they going to do more than one bubble? That would make more sense than just trying to cram it all in Orlando, for sure. All right, Steve. Let's first start with kind of what we were going to talk about mainly in the first place is football season. We're kind of at the midway point. Before we get into our teams, I'm just going to pull up actually. Let's go by division. Just kind of start it out. We'll go quickly through this. We won't spend an hour on football, but the NFC West. Let's start there because I was looking at it. It's probably the most competitive division in football right now. If you're just looking at records, Seahawks 6-2, Cardinals 5-3, Rams 5-3, 49ers 4-5. There's the 49ers are really the bad team in that division, and they're not awful, and they have a zillion injuries.
Yeah. I still think Seattle's the team. That's the team that I called in the beginning, and I'll stick with them. Their defense needs some work. They got exposed pretty good yesterday, but
yeah.
The Rams, I had them as a little bit of a sleeper, and they started out pretty good, and they're just turning the ball over a lot. The offense looks bad. The defense is good. And the Cardinals, I guess you never really know what you're going to get. I mean,
yeah,
they look good too. They're a good team. They're going to be tough, but they lost to Miami yesterday. Losing to Miami is normally I guess you would normally say is a bad thing, but right now Miami beat everybody in that division except Seattle, and Seattle only beat them by a touchdown. So,
Well, and keep in mind too, instead of 6 seeds for each conference, you have 7 seeds this year now. So you're going to have an extra team in the playoffs. And so, and then you think like with everything going on, there's not really home field advantage. So you could easily have a 7 seed or a 6 seed knock off a 1 seed or a 2 seed. I think this year would be the year for that because there's not really going to be any sort of home field.
yeah.
What do you think about as far as football cards? We were just talking about basketball cards having some movement. Do you think that everyone's kind of like, like moving out of football and now it's basketball time, or maybe it's, another sport? I mean, what's kind of your thought on football cards? And then specific to this division, are there any, players that stand out that are intriguing to you?
Okay, so the football market is definitely slowing down, or will slow down even more until the playoffs get set. Then people will start picking up some of the playoff players. You are seeing the basketball card market go up, and the football card market will lose some just because of that. Again, it's the wave of the seasons. And some of the popular players going into the playoffs will go in, coming into this football season, and I said it way in the beginning, was everybody was buying all the quarterbacks as if they were the next Super Bowl champion. And there could only be one Super Bowl champion, and now people are starting to realize that, so they're backing off. And they'll start, picking up a handful of players that they think could be a league MVP or a Super Bowl contender. Look for, maybe 4 or 5 quarterbacks to stay hot. A couple position players maybe. In this division, it doesn't get any hotter than Russell Wilson already is. Can't really touch many of his cards unless you're looking for some newer stuff, maybe in some optic hollows or some prism cards. But if you're looking for rookie cards, you're already going to have to come out of your pocket pretty deep. So from an investment standpoint, I wouldn't buy Russell Wilson rookie cards just because it's too big of a buy-in. I like low entry-level stuff because it limits my risk.
Yeah. I just struggle with I really like, when I think about like who's kind of a lower price option. Jared Goff is a guy that he's been a good player. He's got a great coach. They seem to find ways to win, but it's like we've talked about though. It's so tight in the NFL right now with QBs. There's so much QB talent. Well, I should say there's either so much QB talent or there's a lot of QB talent at the same level. There's a lot of, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Daniel Jones, these guys all kind of fit. To me, they're all kind of in the same bubble. A lot of them, you can't differentiate a lot of them. So how are you supposed to buy and sell cards based on that? And the NFL doesn't react. At least I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it happen where, Russell Wilson throws 4 touchdown passes and those cards double or triple, kind of like what you would see in the NBA last year. I just haven't seen that, so it's like Grumpy Card Guy's bringing up my guy. Drew Brees did great. Saints were killer. But look, did we wake up this morning and Drew Brees rookie cards doubled or tripled? I didn't see it. Now, granted, I didn't look at all of his rookie cards. I didn't look at all of his stuff, but I'm pretty sure that they didn't, So that's where it's just kind of like it's tough to try to buy and sell when nothing moves that. It just seems like with modern football, it doesn't move like that.
With established players, Drew Brees, let's be honest, his best days are behind him.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Steve?
His best days are behind him, but doesn't mean he's still going to do great things, but he's expected to do great things. He's the type of guy that even if he played bad, really wouldn't be affected too much in a negative way because you know what you have already in a legacy, and he's what you call a safe buy.
Brees is going to be the first 50-year-old QB. He's going to go full Lex Luthor, shave all of his hair off. He's going to be – the thing is with Brees, if you're like, no, that's crazy. But here's the thing is Brees only throws up to like 15-yard passes. So really all he's got to do is just be extremely accurate within that 10, 15 yards. He throws like exotic screens to Kamara like 75. That's like 70% of the offense. So if you think about it, it's like they're not asking him to do magical things anymore. But anyway, I digress. So go ahead.
Yeah, really what it boils down to in the NFL, and it always has more so than a really good stat line, is wins and losses. because Jameis Winston had monster numbers last year, but he wasn't on a winning team or he wasn't a winner. He had a lot of interceptions, but he still like led the league in touchdown passes and yards. But people didn't care about that bottom stat line because he wasn't a winner. And you'll see players that will actually go into the playoffs and won't have gaudy numbers. For example, Ryan Tannehill was one last year. He just did what he needed to do to win, especially in the playoffs. When they knocked out New England and Baltimore, they rode Derrick Henry. He didn't have much of a stat line in either game. He may have only attempted 12 attempts in one of the games, but his cards continued to go up and up because that team was winning.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's shift over to the NFC North. Packers, Bears, Vikings, Lions. It really right now, I mean, unless there's a big rebound by the Vikings, Lions, the Packers and the Bears are really in the driver's seat, and the Bears just haven't looked like they're ready to make the next step. It looks like it's the Packers division to lose there. Any thoughts behind the Packers? And then are there any players there as far as football cards go that, could be an option?
Yeah, the Packers. Yeah, I like the Packers. Aaron Rodgers rookie cards have kind of gotten up there already. I really liked the 2005 Topps PSA 10s coming into the season. I did well with those because they were $125, and now they're pushing $600-700. So,
shout out Ziggy has shouting out your intros. How's it going, man?
man, I'll tell you what. I should have never started the whole intro thing because now I got to try to come up with an intro for every video. I feel the pressure, and I'm like, man, it's hard. What do I do for an intro? I'll have a video all done, and I'll be sitting around.
I've taken it as a challenge now.
Trying to be like, man, I need to come up with an intro.
I need to up my intro game. After I watch yours, I'm like, man, I need to do something.
Now, Devontae Adams cards, they're probably already expensive. I haven't checked the market because I have 0 shares of Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
and he's just been absolutely unguardable or uncoverable. So I have a couple Aaron Jones cards. So it's all about how far the Packers can go.
What about the what is his name? The Vikings receiver out of LSU, the rookie. That's
Jefferson. Justin Jefferson.
I mean, I know he's a rookie, and it's like rookie wide receiver. I mean, there's a long way to go there. But I just wonder. I don't know what his cards look like, but you know what? Actually, when I was at that card show last weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I did see Mosaic Jefferson stuff, and it was kind of expensive. And I know the guy was probably thinking like, I'm going to sell now because he's doing well, and they weren't anything special. It was like the blue reactive and the orange and stuff. I mean, they were awesome looking cards, but I was just thinking like, man, I'm just going to wait for the Prism football to come out and see what it does to Mosaic prices. And then maybe I'll come back for this stuff.
I haven't bought a single, I don't think, from this year's product. All I've gotten is what I've got open out of a few packs. I was lucky enough to land some Mosaic, but I haven't opened much of it. I'm actually giving a lot of it away. I'm still giving some away. And but I did pull a silver Prism of Justin Jefferson out of the Mosaic. So it was a decent pull, but I haven't even looked up a market on it. It's hard to trust any wide receiver with Kirk Cousins as a quarterback just because he's so inconsistent.
Hey, and guys, just to show you how, speculating can go wrong. Now, let's not say it's gone wrong yet because we still have a lot of football ahead and we still have years ahead of us. But before the season, as like a low-key buy, I picked up a bunch of Kirk Cousins rookie cards for like absolutely nothing. 2012 Prism and 2012 like Topps Chrome, refractors and different things because they were really dirt cheap. I was taking a shot on Kirk Cousins, speculating on him.
And the thing is like I said, it doesn't have to really be a huge bottom stat line. If the Vikings can make a playoff push and get into the playoffs, Dalvin Cook has been
Well, you look at
running the wheels off the last 2 weeks.
Was good last year.
I think his cards are pretty sneaky. Like you said, we're at the halfway season, and the Vikings are actually starting to play better. I could see them being better than the Bears down the stretch in that division. So, I can see the Vikings being a wild card team.
Yeah, they're sneaky. They've got a lot of offensive weapons. I feel like it's just their defense that's really shaky. They have injuries on defense, which is weird because Zimmer is a defensive coach. But That's what it is. All right, let's move. Well, do we have it? Let's go to the NFC East. Is there anything good to say about the NFC East? I did see one guy here in the chat. Somebody here in the chat said they were picking up Daniel Jones, which, look, here's the thing. 5 years from now, there's going to be one of these guys, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, whoever it is, that's going to be good. That's going to be on a good team or their team has turned around, and we're going to look back and be like, man, it just took Sam Darnold 3 or 4 years to get going, or whoever that QB is. What is your overall thought on the NFC East, other than just overall depression when you look at the standings?
It's bad. I mean,
and one of those teams is going to be in the playoffs.
I said like, a lot of people were talking about the Cowboys, and I remember I think my quote was, "The Cowboys will find a way to lose it." Now, unfortunately, catastrophic injury. I still wouldn't be. The Cowboys played Pittsburgh tough yesterday. Their defense is coming around, and if Andy Dalton gets healthy, that division is still so wide open. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys did win a couple games, because that's all it's going to take.
Is Dak done for the year?
Oh, he's done. Yeah, he's had a compound fracture of his ankle. That's a tough injury to recover from, period. I mean, I'm sure he'll be back next year to give it a go, but that'll be huge question marks around his return.
Yeah, I see a lot of people in the chat talking about buying Dak cheap and saving him for next year. I get that. I totally understand that.
He's a good buy right now. I think so also. I'd have to agree with a lot of those people.
Yeah.
His Prism PSA 10s really pushed high dollar. They spiked on draft night. I bought a couple of his Prism PSA 10s and about 6 PSA 10 optics. The optics I got dirt cheap. They're only like $40 on Amazon, of all places. And then the Prisms, when I bought them, were like around 150. And then they shot up. I sold my last Prism for over $700 prior to the season starting. I just got rid of them. The price just got too high to hold.
Yeah.
Now it's good time to rebuy. When you see the potential of a card, you know that card has that ceiling. So when it dips and really takes a nosedive, when you know what a card can do, then it can give you some sort of confidence on a rebuy.
Right. Yeah, and there is something special for a Cowboys quarterback, just because of the fan base. It's like there's so many fans out there that are Cowboys fans. They just want Dallas to be good so badly, that if they do get on a streak, it does. I have seen that with Dak. He is one of those players where he'll get some volatility going, just because there's a lot of Cowboys fans.
Big market. An example of that, I bought an Andy Dalton Contenders auto ticket rookie before the season started when he was still a free agent. I thought he was going to sign with New England. And I was like, it'll be nice to have some Andy Dalton cards if he signs with New England. But he ended up in Dallas. And when Dak Prescott got hurt, I sold that Contenders card that I bought for I didn't pay over $40 for it, but I sold it for $280. When Dak got hurt, Dalton hadn't even played yet. And, he had played the rest of the game that Dak got hurt in, and they won. They had a comeback win. But the week before that and the week before Dalton played horrible, I moved that card for $280 just based on the fact that he was going to be the starter for the Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah. Dalton is serviceable. If he can get back in the game, just with how weak that division is, I mean, he can certainly get the job done. He's not, he's not amazing. He's not Pat Mahomes, but he can get it done, just especially in that division. Mm-hmm. All right. The last division is the Saints division. I'll just call it that. It's not even really the NFC South, because there's really only one team. I'm trying to get everyone rattled in the chat there. If I've got any Bucs fans that are in there, or any Falcons fans or Panthers fans, no, I'm kind of riding a high right now, because the Saints played the best football game that I've watched probably in a decade on TV. It was absolutely demolishing a good team. And what made it even better is one of my good buddies that lives here is a Bucs fan, and he sat here and watched it with me. Now, he's not obnoxious at all, and I'm not obnoxious either, back to him. So we were talking a little bit of trash, but it was civil, and he left at halftime. He's just like, I got to go, man. I got to go. I mean, he probably just cried all the way home. But That was it was really weird to see the Saints play that a well-rounded game when they have not played a good game all the way around all year. They've been winning, but they've been squeaking by, kind of getting lucky, here and there, and then last night they just kind of put it all together. So I don't know. I don't want to really build it up too much, but it's like, I don't know, 2, 3 more Super Bowls in the next, 4 or 5 years. No, it's exciting to watch it though. What is your take on the NFC South? And are there, and again, same question, any buys there? McCaffrey's back. Are there any, Bridgewater, any kind of under the radar stuff? Calvin Ridley, are you watching anything like that?
I'm not really messing with Calvin Ridley. He had a couple good games to start the season, and his stuff shot up. A very reactionary market. And you'll see Atlanta, I don't think they're going to make any kind of playoff push. So who's going to be buying Calvin Ridley cards? And who is still buying Calvin Ridley cards? I'm not downing the guy's talent. When I say things like this, it doesn't mean I think they're not a good player. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. But being a good player and being a good player to invest in is two different things. He's still not the number one in Atlanta. Julio still owns that. And Atlanta's just not going anywhere. And Calvin Ridley he's always banged up. I don't know if he's played a full NFL season yet. All 16 games. And he doesn't appeal to me personally. I wouldn't buy Calvin Ridley stuff. When I'm buying position players, I got to buy the top tier guys. Just because there's so much volatility in position players.
Yeah.
Football in general, but even more so in those position players. You see it with Christian McCaffrey. His stuff was $800 for a PSA 10 Prism. Then he goes out and rolls his ankle. I don't know what they fell to. I wasn't holding any when he got hurt. I actually had a PSA 10 Optic Hollow that I sold the day that he got hurt. And the buyer didn't back out on me, so I was lucky there. I thought the buyer was going to be like, oh, return or cancel buy or whatever, but they still bought it.
Yeah.
Carolina looks pretty strong. I mean, they played the Chiefs good yesterday. Teddy Bridgewater's actually playing good football. He's just not real exciting, so it's hard to buy and sell on him. So because he's not super exciting, but if you look at his game sheets and his play, he's pretty good.
Yeah, Bridgewater's really underrated. He's just not a big talker. He's not a loud guy. He's not extroverted, so he doesn't get very much attention, but he's solid. He's very
it's going to take some big wins. I think if they would have upset the Chiefs yesterday, he would have been a really good sell. I have a couple of his cards, a couple Topps Chromes, and a Pulsar refractor of his and a BGS 10, actually, a pristine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I picked that up for only like $40 before the season started. I was kind of buying all these free agent quarterbacks thinking one of them was going to end up in New England, and none of them did. The one that ended up there, I bought 0 cards of. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't buy any Cam Newtons.
Cam Newton did exactly what I thought that Cam Newton would do. And nothing against, whatever. I'm not saying that.
Cam Newton.
He just kind of, it's exactly what happens, and not to say that he couldn't have done, been comeback player of the year in New England, but, I've watched too much Cam Newton to know better over the last few years. He's just so banged up. He's had some really rough injuries. And when you have, throwing shoulder and, knee injuries and all the rest of it, it's brutal. But
yeah. And the Saints, we got the Bucks down there. Hey, Bucks last night was just proof of it doesn't matter how many offensive pieces you have on your team. You can have every Pro Bowler and skill player on the team, but if you don't have an offensive line, just forget about it. You can't protect your quarterback. I don't care if your quarterback is Tom Brady or Greg Brady. It's like, you can't protect them. It doesn't make a difference. I feel like Cam Jordan was doing some damage last night, and even when he wasn't getting to the quarterback. And so
that
was that last night.
And you're right. That really was the difference. It wasn't that, the Saints were all that much better. It was literally that they were just getting heat on Brady at every turn, and they were getting heat. They were getting pressure up the middle. It's one thing to get edge pressure because he's great at stepping up and moving to the side and making that throw. But when you've got the pressure that's coming up the middle and the guards are getting blown up, and then it's coming in your face, he can't get away. And then and then it just got, and then I know he was trying to get the ball to AB, and you could just tell that they just weren't on. Like he threw a pick where they just weren't on the same page. And then it was like, and then the other pick he had was like, bonked off 3 guys. We intercepted it. That wasn't really Brady's fault. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate. Obviously I'm happy with the win, but there was also just some like random things that it was kind of like everything went wrong for the Bucs. I don't see that happening again. I know
they'll rebound and they'll win some games and they'll be there down the stretch. They'll be a team that I wouldn't want to play in the playoffs, even after that 38-3, being a Saint, if I was a Saints fan, I still wouldn't feel comfortable playing them in the playoffs because you just don't know what you're going to get.
Well, they just have too many weapons. It's like in the NFL, that's the one thing that's scary is like if they have a really tough defense, well, yeah, you can kind of like navigate that. But if they've got, all the weapons like that, if they are hitting on all cylinders, you can be playing great and they will beat you. That's just how the NFL is.
As far as cards go with the Bucs, Brady rookie cards are crazy because he's already the GOAT. And then, the position players like Godwin and stuff, people were buying up. I didn't buy in on any of their position players because I just feel like there wasn't enough footballs to go around. And I didn't think they would have the passing attempts that they had last season. And they don't because their defense is better and their running game's a little bit better. However, a sneaky card, I don't know if it's really sneaky. People probably know about it. But this year's 2020 Luminance, that is Tom Brady's first card in a Bucs uniform. I wouldn't go buying up the base of that card, but there's little parallels like greens and golds that are numbered out of like 50 and numbered to 100 and things like that. And you can buy them for like $10 numbered. Stay away from the base stuff because that stuff is massively printed. But if you can get a couple of those nice like green parallels or golds for the $10 to $15 price range, I mean, what can it hurt? I mean, it's Tom Brady. It's only going to appreciate, even if it may appreciate slower, it may appreciate faster. If he wins a Super Bowl, that Bucs card is going to be pretty desirable, especially numbered to some people. And if he doesn't, it's still going to be a card that people are going to look at when he retires and stuff and say, hey, this was weird. Look at him in a Bucs uniform. This is weird. It's not his Patriots uniform. But I wouldn't go breaking the bank on any of his other stuff unless you're like a collector.
Yeah.
You just want to buy stuff for your PC. But I think that's just a very affordable card. I think people are waiting for his prisms. They want Prism Silver, his first Prism Silver in a Bucs uniform and all that. But, I think that Luminance is a nice little sneaky card. I've picked up a couple of the numbered versions for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I do like, what I really love are that Origin set. The Origin stuff, it's never worth anything as far as resale goes, but on-card autos are awesome. I mean, like the actual cards are beautiful cards and their autos are nice. That's something where if I might just pick those up for like the PC. If there's stuff that's just like dirt cheap autos type stuff from this year, guys, Breeze or whatever, I'll probably pick up some of that stuff.
There's quite a few really nice sets, and they just, I don't know, they get categorized as lower tier, even though you think they're a higher tier product, or they get separated into they're the lower tier of the upper tier products. You got National Treasures, and then you got like Spectra.
Yeah.
And you got like Prism, and then you've got like Hoops, so it's like,
yeah,
they separate it into tiers, and then they separate those tiers into the different product of hierarchy within those tiers. And because Prism is like the top of the lower end tier stuff, it ends up being more valuable than some of this Spectra and Origins and these sets that are really, really nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right.
But with the
go ahead.
With the sticker autos, for me, that really makes a lot of cards and memorabilia cards and stuff a lot less desirable for me personally, because there's nothing special about the card. It's a card with a sticker on it that the guy signed. The player never handled the card. It was never in his hand. It was never at his house. He signed a sheet of stickers, sent them to the factory, and they put some of them on Spectra. They put some of them on this brand. They put some of them on this brand. They just scatter them out wherever they want to put them. and there's nothing really special to the card. I really don't like the sticker autos, and I go for on card stuff. And if it's not on card, I really don't care for it that much.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm not a big auto mem card guy. I do have some of that stuff, but I don't have a ton of it. I don't have a ton of it. Hey, let's stop for a second. We're at the 30-minute mark. We're going to move into the AFC East. Talk about Steve's
Oh
Dolphins.
yeah, let's talk about the best division in the NFL.
First, let's talk about Steve's channel. So, if for people that are new here, I know there's a lot of crossover in the chat. But if there's people that are watching that don't know, Flipping Steve has a prolific YouTube channel with the best intros in the biz. He probably spends more time on the intros than he does on the actual content that he's producing in the video.
I put more thought into the intros.
Yeah,
the content and the investment part of it, that's the easy part. The creative part, that's the tough part.
Do you map out your intros like in advance? Like if you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I'm going to have some creative time and I'm just going to sit here for 3 hours and think about it. Intro, and I'm just going to like, sit on the beach and just like reflect and then go. And do you knock out like 10 different intro ideas?
Well, I filmed my video last night. The one, it's just a PSA submission. It was just a quick video I wanted to throw together. And really, it was just to remind people about the giveaway. It wasn't even really a video to give anybody any knowledge, just to show some people some cards I was sending in, talk about grading a little bit, and remind people that, hey, I got a video out where you can qualify for a giveaway. Because I really don't even, because I uploaded like 2 days in a row, I think, or 3 days, and I don't normally do that. I do 2 or 3 a week because I have a full plate. So I filmed that video and I didn't have an intro ready. And I was like, man, what can I do for a PSA video intro? I'm like, I have no idea. I was like, what did I do last time? I can't do what I did last time. It's getting harder and harder. And I came in and I had the NFL channel on and I was watching the scores go across the bottom of the television. And when I turned off the Miami Dolphin game, they were losing 31-24. And I just thought it was over. I went and filmed the video. I come back in and checked the scores and saw that they had won. And as soon as I saw that they had won, I immediately was in my living room and I was like pumping my fist. And I was like, whoa, yeah, baby. Whoa, yeah, baby. And then I stopped and I was like, I got my intro. And that's when I went and I was like, did that little intro for last night.
All right. And then also, guys, I have a gift for Steve that I'm going to share with him. He actually already knows about it, but I'm going to show just kind of a little glimpse. He's going to have it on his channel. I have to mail it to him. I have to figure out how I'm going to mail it to him. But anyway, this is a gift that my mother-in-law made. You guys know that she made me these like card pictures. And so I have a special one. Tony, E-Man, you're going to appreciate this.
Check that out. Masterpiece.
Early Christmas present for my buddy Flippin' Steve. So we're going to get that out. So I think he's going to set that up somewhere in his house. I'm sure his wife is thrilled.
Oh, I've already showed her a picture. And I'm already talking about how I'm going to set up maybe a new little backdrop for the channel and stuff. I shoot my videos pretty generic, really raw. I don't, I just feel like the content is more important than the looks of everything. So, but I'm going to try to do a little bit more third person stuff because I really always talk to the camera. Only time I'm ever really on the camera is on my intros. And I'm not going full third person because my videos get to be over 20 minutes sometimes, and I don't want people looking at my ugly face for that long. But I want to have a little bit, especially when I do my intros and talk a little bit in the beginning of my videos, have some stuff behind me, some nice pictures. I don't want to be like I'm copying off your channel, but I'm going to have that damn Moreno back there.
Oh, no. Sure. Well, actually, when you finished it, I was like, I might want to keep this. Like, maybe I'm just going to tell Steve, like, forget about it. Like, I might just want to put this one up. But yeah, no, that's awesome, man. We'll get that out to you. Okay, so start talking about the Dolphins. I'm actually going to go get some more coffee because I need a little bit of a boost. So it's going to be kind of weird for viewers. They're just going to see kind of my couch for a second, but I'll make this quick. So I can hear you. I'm just walking over here to get coffee. So go ahead.
All right. So,
AFC East.
So I guess we'll start with the Dolphins. Big win yesterday. Couple big wins. The defense looks really good. We still need some our offense, I think, still needs to be a little bit more consistent. We need to be able to run the ball a little bit better. But the offensive line is coming together. Defense has made plays. Defense has scoring touchdowns. I mean, take away our defensive touchdown yesterday and we don't win. So you could call it a little bit of luck, but we were also playing against Kyler Murray, a pretty high-powered offense. So, we were expected to give up some points. But yeah, look at this Squish the Fish down here. Squish the Fish, that's 1985. The New England Patriots, they went to the Super Bowl against the Bears, but they played Miami in the AFC Championship game, and Miami was the favorite. Miami was the only team to beat Chicago in that season. In the regular season, Dan Marino picked them apart on a Monday night. Just picked them apart like a JV squad. And then they lost the AFC East or the AFC Championship game to New England, and then New England got utterly destroyed in the Super Bowl by the Bears. Even William Refrigerator Perry even had a touchdown. But that was the night I lost all respect for the Bears coaching staff because Walter Payton has never scored a Super Bowl touchdown. They gave a 1-yard touchdown run to William the Refrigerator Perry, and they did not give it to Walter Payton.
Yep, I remember. I didn't watch the game. I was too young, but I've seen the NFL films, and then going back and forth about it.
And everybody thought it was all fun. Oh, party! Look, the Refrigerator scored a touchdown. That's so neat. That's so cool. But me, as a football purist and somebody who respects the greats of the game, somebody like Walter Payton, who that's the reason why you're in the Super Bowl, and he doesn't get a 1-yard touchdown run. He retires without a Super Bowl touchdown. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to go back up. Ziggy had a good question up here. 1 second. Let me get back to it because I saw it and then I went past it. Going back to football, Prism Football, the upcoming release. Hopefully it's still December 2nd. I mean, it was November. Then it moved back to December 2nd. Are you going to be buying singles, chasing retail, or buying into breaks for this, or doing nothing?
Well, I've only ever been in one break in my life, so probably won't be in many breaks. If I see retail, I'll buy it, but I never chase it. Like I don't go to the store for retail. If I'm at the store, I'll go check the card aisle, but I don't make it a point to go to the store to, oh man, I hope they got cards in. And then if they don't have anything, I turn around and leave. I have to be going to the store for another reason in order to go look at the cards. And I even know when our vendor, the local vendor here shows up at Target, I even know her time, but I just don't bother with it. And honestly, if I land some, same with the Mosaic, I'll probably give a lot of it away. It makes good giveaways for the channel. It's not very expensive to buy it at suggested retail price. In the stores, I can get a seller pack for $10, or a hanger box for $15. That's a good giveaway. And somebody might pull something good. I could open it here and get absolutely nothing, and then it's a waste. Or I can give it away to somebody, and at least they got the excitement of getting their hands on some product and maybe pulling a monster card, which I hope. I would more than wish that somebody would pull something really awesome out of something that I sent them, because it's really no loss to me. If I send somebody a pack of cards and they pull a Justin Herbert silver, I didn't lose a Justin Herbert silver. I paid $10. I'm out $10. I'm not out $100. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it. I do good enough, knock on wood, and I'm not trying to talk myself up, but I'm doing well enough off my purchasing of singles and flipping and grading and stuff that I don't dabble in much wax at all. I like to open it sometimes, especially if it's raining and there's nothing to do outside. I'll have a couple packs sitting around. I might open a pack, but I don't sit and open boxes of wax or anything like that. It's just not my thing. It's fun when I do it, don't get me wrong, but
I will tell you,
there's a lot of people out there who enjoy it more than I do.
I'm actually excited about that product. Just the look of it. I like how it looks. It kind of got me, like when I saw how I saw the preview, Cardboard Connection type preview stuff in the Panini website. I don't know how I'm going to get it. I think it's going to be. I'm not spending $1,000 on a box or anything like that. I might wait till singles come out. What I'll probably end up doing is just buying singles in the off season. Like next, after it cools off a little bit. That's probably what I'll do. And I doubt. Well, it just depends. Honestly, it just depends. I'm,
Um,
the rookies, now that Tua's playing and then he's kind of showing something. Because at first it was like, okay, we've got Burrow, and then it's like, I mean, I remember before the season started, it was like Burrow as a rookie quarterback, Herbert and Tua. Like, it's probably going to be a year before they even play. And now all of a sudden I'm like, man, they're actually pretty good. I mean, like,
mhm.
it's made that rookie class a little bit interesting, a little bit more interesting.
Oh, it's a good year to buy. Just like 2018, because you had 5 quarterbacks in the first round. Anytime you have that many quarterbacks in the first round, it's a good year to buy, as well as the fact that position players saw a boost this year, and there were some good position players in this draft as well. So it's a good year to buy wax. And even if you wanted to sit on some of this wax, I'm not the kind of person, and I know that's been a debate, not a debate, but it's been a discussion lately, especially on some of the bigger content creators on investing in wax and just holding it. That's fine. It is a good investment. I'm not going to deny that. Personally, for me, I don't hold wax. The longest thing I held was I did get a hobby box of Optic basketball. I actually got it off the Panini website this year, so I got it for the $300 price. I didn't get botted out. I actually got in before all the bots got it.
Wow.
And it only sat in my closet for a couple months, and then I just resold it on eBay. I didn't open it. And I didn't really even get much more out of it than I paid for it. I paid $300 for it, and I might have sold it for $450. But after fees and all that, I might have made $100 off of it.
Yeah,
really, it wasn't even worth.
It wasn't crazy. Yeah. All right, let's shift over. We'll come back to football, but let's mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Alec from Global Sports Card Investor asking, are you both buying heavily on NBA at the moment? I am not buying heavily. In part, I want to be buying more, but I'm being really choosy. And I'm looking at very specific cards and very specific players, and I'm just not seeing the pricing where I need it to be. And then the ones where I'm making offers, and I'm getting some stuff. But I'm just being really picky, and then I'll make an offer on something, and then it ends up selling for $10 more type thing, or $15 more than I offered. But like I said, it's very specific, type stuff. One card I was looking at, I can throw out one card that I was targeting, still am, but I'm just having trouble getting them at the price I want, and it's Jamal Murray 2016 Optic Hollows and a PSA 9, or I want those. And I just can't. I have one, and I've been trying to buy a few, and I just can't get them at the right price. And it's either like, they're right at. There'll be a couple listings that are right where I want them to be, and then the other listings are like $800 for the PSA 9. They're like, it's like It's like my price point's like, 200 to 250, and then there's just stuff that's like, buy it now, make an offer at $600, and I'm not. It's like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's hard. There's just not a lot of action there.
It's hard to get in on an auction. I feel like there's way more buy it nows and stuff right now because people want buyers to buy on impulse.
Yeah.
We want buyers to be scared that they're not going to get something at a good price. So you're seeing a lot of, man, I'm going to throw this up there at a big price, and hopefully the right buyer comes along and grabs it, or somebody who doesn't necessarily care about money, like a high-end investor.
I always talk about PSA 9, and you talk about PSA 9 too. I know that you're bullish on PSA 9, and there's a lot of guys have been just kind of in the comments on my videos talking about like just making me believe it more, because basically that whole PSA doesn't have a 9.5, so it's either a 9 or it's a 10, and there's got to be somewhere that's a tough call, and there's a lot of 9s that could be that could have been 10s. It's one of those things where we talk about, it's like a ref in sports. You see, you make a call on something, and it could go either way sometimes. And I feel like it's that way sometimes with 9s and 10s for PSA.
Yeah. For this question, actually, there's a comment by Ziggy up here, and my answer is relative to his. Some of the rookies that I am kind of high on, or not rookies, but younger players that I feel have really good potential, I'm doing some star stock buying and selling. So, I got a couple cards in my star stock account, some Kobe White, Kevin Porter Jr., just like he says up there. I also have some Marvin Bagley stuff. I'm a big believer in the select product, so that's what I've been buying
Yeah.
I sold off a lot of Prism, especially with Tyler Hero. I sold all my Tyler Hero Prisms during that Miami Heat run, and I only sold them because I had to. There was no way I could not sell him when he was so hot. And now is a time for me to buy back in on him. However, I don't want to buy back in on him at these new Prism prices. You know, if I could get him back for what I was buying him for back last, April, then that's fine. But
I think that's the tricky part too, is there's so many options out there. Like think about NBA rookies. Like if you're going to go in on, there's 30 guys between like the two that there could be more. If you're looking at the 2018 draft class all the way to the 2019 draft class, there's a lot of guys and a lot of cards there that
there's a lot of players. And the thing is you see all kinds of different people, and myself included. I'm not talking bad about anybody, but you see all kinds of different people talking about different players. So it's really hard, when you're when you watch YouTube and you see a lot of content creators talking about different players, and if you put stock into what some of them say, it's hard to decipher which ones you actually want to buy because everybody's got a limited bankroll. Well, at least I got a limited bankroll, but so there's 20 or so guys that I think are decent. Like when I did my last video, I had Michael Porter Jr., Tyler Hero, Zach LaVine was 3 guys I was buying, and I'm buying it on the selects just because I think select is an underrated product. And I think you give yourself the potential for 2 increases. You give yourself for player performance increase, and you give yourself the potential for a product value increase, if that makes sense. Like say all of a sudden select gets super popular. It doesn't matter what the player is doing, that the card's going to go up because the product is popular. So you leave yourself open for a double positive. May not happen, but at least there's a chance for that double positive, and you are going to get the positive on player performance. And you're getting it in at a lower risk. And print runs on select are just better. A lot of people in the hobby just haven't come around to it yet because, it is Prism. Prism is what gets preached, but, Select's got a better print run. It's a better product, in my opinion. But
do you like Select better than Optic? If you had to choose between
I do like Optic. The thing that makes me go with Select over Optic is grading potential. Optic was just really badly off-centered this year. I trust buying a raw Select card off the internet better than I do buying a raw Optic card off the internet. So it's not necessarily that I like Select better from a value standpoint, but I like it better from a risk standpoint.
I got you.
I feel like, I can buy 10 Optics and I'll be lucky if I get 3 that might grade a 10, where if I buy 10 Selects, I think I can get 6 or 7 that might grade a 10.
I like this question. Anybody paying close attention to the NBA draft coming up? I mean, is anybody bullish on any of these guys coming out? Because I'll be honest, I just can't. And no one's really talking about it. Last time we were talking, Steve, I think we were saying exactly the same thing last time you were on a few weeks ago. Just like there's just not any excitement, and maybe it's just because the last 2 years there's been so much excitement, and now this year is just kind of like a regular year or an off year. I don't know, but
there was no college basketball.
That's a good point.
So it's hard to say. Okay, so who really lit it up in the March tournament this year? Who really lit it up in the Final Four? Who put themselves on the map? Whose draft stock improved because of the tournament? There's none of that. There's no hype around any of these players by no fault of their own. But I couldn't even tell you five guys coming out, to be honest. I know who LaMelo Ball is because that's the only people talk about him. That's about it. I mean, I might sound like a complete jabroni because I don't have any knowledge of this year's draft, but
So do you think that Prism basketball and Optic basketball are going to be red hot even with a weak rookie class? Do you think that people will still be buying it for just the Giannis and the Lukas and the LeBrons and kind of the other stuff, even if it's just not an exciting rookie class at all? And I shouldn't say buying it. Obviously, people are going to buy it. My main question is, are they going to be paying $1,000 a box for it?
It's going to depend on Panini's price point. And they will change the price point based on the hobby and based on the players. They do. You know, it went up so much this year because Zion was in it. They may have to bring their prices down in order to get people to buy. Personally, for me, I'm going to let everybody else focus on these new guys, and then I'm just going to see what happens with them. And if other people are spending all their money on these new draft picks, I'm going to go buy the guys that I was just talking about.
Yeah, no,
Guys who have shown me a little bit of something, even if it's not a full season or anything. Guys that have kind of showed me that they can hang in the league a little bit. I mean, if you do statistics, what I know, it used to be the first 11, or is it the first 12? Maybe the first 13 draft picks are considered the lottery. Just go back and do statistics and tell me how many of those lottery picks each season actually pan out to be all-star players. Now, they spend time in the league and they play and they're role players and this, that, and the other, but how many of them actually become all-stars or even superstars? And just do the statistics on it. You can't buy everybody. You just got to hope that you make knowledgeable decisions. And it's tough. I mean, how many first picks of the drafts have been bust? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
And what was Giannis, like the 15th or 16th pick? And there's a lot of guys that are like that, you know, that weren't top 10 picks or whatever that pan out. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm probably not going to buy any rookies in this upcoming draft. I probably won't buy any of them. I will focus on the guys that are already. I feel like there's enough guys that have already shown us something, that have enough cards that I don't have of those guys, that I'll just continue to focus on those guys. And then look, if the new ball kid is amazing and, you know, he's taking the league by storm, then I'll get him on the next season. You know, I'll get him in a couple years or whatever. You know, I mean, I'm not going to probably buy any of the stuff, you know, while they're I guess while they're rookies, and if they're blowing up as rookies, the pricing is going to be high anyway.
Yeah, everybody's going to be buying them up. I'll dabble on Star Stock. I've really been having some fun, almost challenging myself and putting some money in the Star Stock and seeing what I can turn it into. And you can, you know, I'm just buying lower end rookies on there. And to answer the question from earlier, that's probably what I'll do with the NFL Prism. If some Prism hits Star Stock, I feel like I trust that platform a little bit when it comes to buying raw cards, because they do give you a semi thought on what they think the grade on it's going to be, as opposed to buying a scanned card of somebody. And that's probably what I'll do with next year's rookie class. And I'm already doing it with some of these, you know, other basketball players. And you can find sneaky deals on Star Stock, man. I found a really good sneaky deal on there on a Ben Roethlisberger card, a Ben Roethlisberger Topps rookie. And it was in a Star Stock A, which you know was probably grade a 9 or a 10. And a 9 PSA 10 of that, like 2 weeks ago, was selling for like $150, and the 10s are like $500. And I grabbed that off there for like $20 in the Star Stock A. It was the only one. It was the only Ben Roethlisberger card on the entire platform, because people mostly do a lot of the newer modern stuff on there.
Yeah.
And I just happened to type in his name, and a 2004 Topps rookie popped up, and I was like, dang, I'll buy that for $20.
Do they have any vintage stuff on there?
I don't think it dates back that far.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty new to it myself, so I really don't know, but
I got you. All right, let's shift back. We'll just kind of bounce around here, but let's go back to NFL. So we were on the AFC East. Obviously, you feel that your Dolphins are going to overtake the Bills. I take it, or do you think the Bills are going to hang on?
I think the Bills will probably win the division. I just hope Miami wins the next matchup against them, just because I have friends that are Buffalo Bills fans from Buffalo, and I was just got back from having a beer with one of them and talking a lot of trash. So I need that win. But the Jets are garbage. I don't know what to say about the Patriots. I mean, you still don't want to count them out and say, hey, they're an automatic win, but they're not looking very good.
Yeah, I think
again, being a Miami fan, I'm a little bit skeptical. You know, are they overachieving right now? Is Miami overachieving? It's my thought.
Is Belichick just lulling everybody into a slumber before he unloads I don't know who he's going to bring out. I don't know, the Minotaur or something out to play football. I don't know. Who knows with that guy? All right, AFC North: Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. The Bengals are pretty much out, but they're still kind of hanging on by a thread at 2-5-1. The Browns are 5-3. The Ravens are 6-2, and the Steelers are undefeated. Where do you see that going? You said you bought a Roethlisberger card. Are any other players in that division, or how do you, as far as their cards go, and then how do you see that division going?
I like the Steelers with a very bad quarterbacking situation last year. They won a lot of games and played really good football. And coming into this season, I picked them to win this division when everybody was talking about the Ravens. And I was like, man, look what they did last year with a crappy quarterback situation.
Yeah.
And they're playing this year and they're undefeated. And a lot of it is because of their defense is great. They have a good coach. They run the ball good enough. And Ben Roethlisberger can still win games. I still think Roethlisberger cards are underpriced, especially some of his lower end rookies, like some of his upper deck stuff, and the tops is getting up there a little bit. But I think Ben Roethlisberger is underpriced. I think he's underappreciated for a career. I don't think people realize that. I think he's in the top 10 in a lot of statistical categories. A lot of people are like, yeah, he's won a couple Super Bowls, but what else has he done? Because when you think about Ben Roethlisberger, you don't necessarily think about him being this big-time yardage passer and stuff, but when you look at the consistency over the years and his final stat line, he's going to retire in the top 10 in a lot of categories. He has Super Bowl wins, huge market for Pittsburgh, so I think he's a good buy. I think he's really safe because
he's going to, other than Terry Bradshaw, he's going to be the best Steelers QB outside of Tommy Maddox.
Yeah, Tommy Maddox, Neil O'Donnell.
Bubby Brister.
But
I agree.
But
I think they kind of lump him in with Eli Manning. They're like the same guy. Like, oh, Eli.
Oh, no, he's way better quarterback than Eli Manning. But
he is better. I agree.
I think Juju Smith-Schuster is still a good buy. He's been slow. He's kind of been like, okay, if you picked him in fantasy football, he's been a letdown. But yesterday, when they needed to win, he stepped up huge late in that game and made a lot of big catches in the second half. And I think that they're starting to find a rhythm with him a little bit. He's in that 2017 Prism set, and I just don't think you can go wrong with the rookies from that set because the Patrick Mahomes card is in that set. So you got a lot of good, Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. All those guys are in that set, Deshaun Watson. So I feel like Juju Smith-Schuster is a rookie card in that set that's under the radar, that's affordable. And if they make a playoff push, if they go to the Super Bowl or make a playoff push, and there's even any sort of buzz around the possibility of him winning a Super Bowl MVP, which a wide receiver can do, you got some value in his cards, even his optics, which are dirt cheap.
I'm going to break it off on this. I think this is kind of an interesting statement here that Charles has. In a couple of years, tons of PSA cards will be in the common bin, LOL. And maybe he's kidding, but actually it's not that crazy to think about. Now, hear me out here. Maybe not a $1 bin, but with how many cards are being graded and probably going to get graded over the next few years and all the different types of cards, I could see PSA graded cards in a $5 bin or something, or, at a card shop. Mm-hmm. That's still a thing because there's just going to be so many more graded cards than there ever has been before. And people are grading all sorts of things.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. There's going to be cards that are worth less than the price that it costs to get them graded because people are grading everything. People are taking your average $10 player or $5 card. They're getting it graded in hopes of getting a 10-time multiplier on it. But what happens when nobody wants that player anymore? I don't want to use anybody's example because I don't want to jinx anybody, but say, for instance, I don't know, Daniel Jones. Say he's a bust. Let's take Josh Rosen. Let's take Josh Rosen, who was already not done much of anything. But if you were buying Josh Rosen in 2018 and setting his Prism is in to get graded, you're probably not getting out of them what you paid, what you put into them right now. And
Yeah.
if he's never plays another down in the NFL, who are you going to be able to sell his cards to besides his mom?
I'll tell you
So,
one thing. I'm pretty happy I didn't send off Mason Rudolph cards to get graded.
yeah,
You know, yeah,
no, it's happened. I've seen Mason Rudolph graded cards online.
yeah.
Someday, I mean, if there's not a market for a card,
But hey, look, that could be a Ryan Tannehill. That could
it
be a
could
Ryan
be.
Tannehill.
It could be.
You never know. But for every Ryan Tannehill situation, there's 1,000 other situations that didn't happen. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Ziggy's got a Rosen, Immaculate RPA, and a Kaiser. Oh, I forgot about Kaiser. The guy that played at Notre Dame. I remember him.
Deshaun Kaiser.
Deshaun Kaiser. Yep, I remember
Yeah,
him.
was he drafted over Deshaun Watson? I'm not sure. There was some sort of talk about who to take, him or I remember there being some sort of debate over those two guys. What do I got? Haven't shown any cards. Oh my God, I'm reaching.
Warren Buffett single-handedly moving that PSA stock. Warren Buffett's just playing around with that PSA stock.
I have a Rosen right here. This is a Contenders auto on-card ticket. The light doesn't. You can't see the auto because of the daggone light, but that's a Rosen Contenders auto ticket and a PSA 10.
That's nice.
So I was hoping that he would do something. I mean, I got $60, I think, invested in that.
Although, if you think about it, if you put in $60 for one big card like that, to where if he does pan out, it goes way up.
Yeah, it would be a huge card if he'd come in, and even if he was just named a starter.
Yeah, it's better.
You could sell it before he hit the field.
It's better than buying 10 optic rookies or something. Just go. I mean, if you can get, $60 is nothing for that card. I wonder how many people too do that, where it's like a guy like a Josh Rosen, where nobody is talking about him, totally off the radar, and then they go buy those National Treasures PSA 10s and just hold, and just sit on.
I mean, if you like to gamble, it's not bad. With me, a lot of times people ask me, is this who should I buy? Is this a good player to buy right now? Is this a good player to buy right now? And my stuff always hinges around price point, to be honest. I saw some comments earlier talking about a couple players that were good buys or good purchases. And I was thinking to myself, I really don't disagree. I mean, I really don't agree because of the price point. Are those players, they're playing, to me, in my opinion, it's too late. For me, it's too late to buy something. Like I saw DK Metcalf mentioned. Okay, yeah, DK Metcalf is great. He could be the next big receiver, and he's putting up monster numbers, good quarterback, good team. But in my opinion, it's too late to buy. If you were trying to make really good money on him, you needed to buy him, 2 months ago.
Yeah. Your Discord's blown up.
Yeah, I know. I thought I shut it off. But anyway, yeah, I just because I like I like to come in low risk.
Yeah.
If he goes out and he gets hurt next week, now you're like, damn, I spent $60 for a raw prism of DK Metcalf. You could have bought them all, and you could have bought them in the offseason for $5 to $8 a card probably.
We talk about Josh Rosen. That Josh Rosen, that card that you have, I mean, look, he's under Bruce Arians. Granted, I think he's a good coach. And the one thing he is good at is coaching quarterbacks. So, I mean, Brady's not going to be there forever. Josh Rosen might actually get a shot to start for the Bucs. You never know. Or another team. You never know. So, I mean, you just never know with some of these guys. I think he'll stay in the league as a backup. I think if you look at all the backup, I mean, Chase Daniel is still playing in the league as a backup.
Yeah.
If Chase Daniel can play, then Josh Rosen can play as a backup.
Yeah, see this comment down here. Amara says autos are unimpressive anymore, which I was kind of talking about earlier with the sticker autos. Yeah. I would say an on-card auto. Now modern stuff. Older stuff, autos are still nice. Like if you could pull a nice 1998 or 2000 Kobe Bryant auto, that's a great pull because he's not going to be able to sign anything else. That's a limited signature that you're never going to be able to get again. Unfortunately, on-card autos are a different ballgame, especially when you're talking about football and the NFL playoff or the playoff contenders tickets. That's still the card to get. Um,
Yeah.
those are just the football people still want those playoff contender tickets. It doesn't even really matter who the player is. A lot of times, you'll see a lot of that product busted, and a lot of it you'll see opened on YouTube. And every time the talk will be, "Oh, I get one on card auto per box, and then the rest are all sticker autos." But it's all about that on card auto.
And that's really a function of collectors driving that market. It's like if the collectors want it, it's in demand. It's always in demand because it's the collectors. People talk about the investors and the collectors and the flippers and blah blah blah. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, the collectors drive that. Those contenders, rookies. All right, let's go back to the other. Let's go back. Okay, so we talked about AFC North. What about the AFC South? Titans, Colts, Texans, Jags. This is really between the Titans and the Colts now, from what I'm seeing. I mean, Texans 2-6, Jaguars 1-7. Deshaun Watson, is he a buy right now at 2-6? I have no idea what his cards are doing. I just know he's highly talented, and his team is not doing well. Is that a guy that you've been looking at? I remember before the season, I was looking at some of his stuff, and I just never pulled the trigger on it.
I loaded up on Deshaun Watson March 1st. The only reason I remember the exact date is because I was at a card show. It was the last one I was able to go to. I bought every PSA 10 2017 Prism of his that I could find. And bought them for $125 each, and I resold them all. I think the lowest I got for one of them was $450. I got like $675 for one of them. I got like $700 for another one of them. I sold them all because there was so much hype coming into the season. And like I said, everybody was buying all the quarterbacks as if they were going to win the Super Bowl. So I was selling my stuff. I don't have any left. As far as a rebuy on him, I think for me it's tough because when I buy a card for $125, it's hard to now look at it and be like, okay, now if I want to rebuy in at $250 or something like that, is it worth it? Because I've already seen the low point of that card and I've sold it at its high point. If I rebuy in and resell at the high point again, I'm going to make money, but not as much. And now I'm at a higher risk. I don't like the fact that he re-signed with Houston.
Yeah,
I would be buying his stuff if I knew he was going to be a free agent in the offseason. So that's the thing with me. Now that he's locked up in Houston, I'm not buying his stuff at the price point.
Yeah.
I have nothing against his talent as much as I do about his situation.
I wonder if he's like an annual by March 1st, because unless he's injured, he's just an exciting player. So even for the Texans, it's like, March 1st time frame right up to the Super Bowl or even leading up to the Super Bowl, when no one's talking about him, taking a look at his stuff and seeing if it's worthwhile, and then, reselling leading up to the season, as the season is coming up. Because I just think that there's going to be excitement unless he just has, bad year or something. I mean, the guy he's kind of that bright spot on that team.
Yeah. But like I said, what else can he do? So I look at what a player has done and I say, okay, what is it going to take for them to do, or what is it going to take for their cards to get over the hump? He's already showed that he's a great player. He can be an MVP caliber player. Will he ever win MVP with some of these players that are in the league right now? I don't think so. I think he'll always be a top 5 to 8 quarterback, but I don't think he'll be a top 3. And it's going to take a deep playoff run or a Super Bowl win now because he has so much already built. He has a hype. He has stats, potential, performance. All that stuff's already built into his cards. What's it going to take to push that card over?
Yeah,
a Super Bowl win. Do I see a Super Bowl win for Deshaun Watson in the next 3 years? I really don't. Now, a change to another team would have probably changed my opinion of that. If he would have landed next year on a team like New England or something, then I could say, hey, this is a guy to have. But with me right now at the price point that Deshaun Watson is at, I would rather put my money somewhere else.
All right, let's finish up with the AFC West for football. Chiefs 8-1, Raiders 5-3. It looks like the Broncos are on the fringe. They're 3-5, but I can't imagine they overtake. Definitely not the Chiefs, and the Raiders are 2 games ahead. Chargers are 2-6. Do you think the Raiders can? I mean, I don't know if they're going to catch the Chiefs. Are they a better team than the Chiefs? Probably not. But can they kind of weasel their way into the playoffs and then maybe knock off a good team like that? They have talent.
Well, I think all those teams still have to play Miami, so they all are going to get scrapped with at least one more loss. I'll at least know that we play San Diego, the Chiefs, and Denver. I'm not sure if we don't get the Raiders or not, but that's the Chiefs division. The Raiders, they put a smackdown on the Chiefs once this year, but then they come out and they look bad. You know, you don't know which Raiders team you're going to get, and I think Derek Carr's play is kind of regressing. You're not seeing the money of the big plays. They're running the ball well. Not Kalen. They had two running backs yesterday do really good. Jacobs and somebody else rushed really good, but I don't know. I don't find the Raiders to be very exciting, and I thought the move to Vegas would make them exciting, but to me, they're not. They're very vanilla.
Yeah.
And you know, the Chiefs, they were losing yesterday. Just when you think, oh my God, somebody might upset the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes decides to blow up and say, you know what, I'm not going to let this happen today. And so they always have that. And Denver has been a big letdown to me. And the Chargers aren't there yet. Justin Herbert's awesome, but they find a way to lose. There's been a lot of games. Like yesterday, a heartbreaking loss. They thought they had the game won. And then on a review, it was an incomplete pass in the end zone. So
doesn't it kind of just feel like it's just inevitable that the Chiefs – I feel like this season with watching the Chiefs, it kind of makes me think of like LeBron's Lakers going into the playoffs. Like you kind of just feel like they're going to win. You have that feeling, you know, and then they did win. I feel like it's almost, you know, it's almost like inevitable that it's going to happen like that, you know, to where the just went, because there's not really a team that's scary for them. You know, I mean, there's some good, I know the you know, the Steelers are undefeated and all of it, but I don't know. I just feel like it's the Pat Mahomes era, and we're just all living in it.
I see a comment here that says bye Mahomes. He's still too cheap. I actually kind of agree on some of those cards. Now he's not cheap. His cards are not cheap. But okay, last year before the Super Bowl, his Super Bowl prices were built into his card. That's why his cards didn't go up after he won Super Bowl MVP. It was already baked into him. They were expected to win that Super Bowl. However, leading up to this season, the hype monster hit and those cards really shot up. Yeah. I think at this point in the season, there are still doubts around Kansas City. Even though I think they're going to win it, I think there's a lot of people out there that still have their doubts around Kansas City. So I don't think another Super Bowl right now is currently baked into his cards. Now, if you wait till the AFC Championship game or something like that, now you might see that price baked into his cards. But I don't think it's quite baked in there yet. So I think that there's room for Mahomes cards to still go up. However, you got to figure out how long you want to hold that card. Do you want to hold it and gamble that he does win another one? Let's say, for instance, you buy an Optic rookie card of his right now, PSA 10 for $1,000, and they make the playoffs. And in the first round of the playoffs, that card shoots up to $1,500. Do you now want to sell and make $500, or do you want to hold in the hopes that if he wins the Super Bowl? Because if he doesn't win it, that card's going to come back down on you. If he does win it, it may go up a little bit for you. So it all depends on your selling point, what you're looking to get out of it, and your risk and reward. Are you willing to spend $1,000 in order to make $500? So,
yeah,
that's all based around the buyer and everybody's budget and everybody's individual thoughts. So I would never recommend, hey, go buy Pat Mahomes. But that's a scenario that I think based around his cards right now for me personally. And I bought heavy on him before last year's Super Bowl, and his cards didn't move after the Super Bowl. And I was like, man, that was not a very good buy. But then like 3 months later, I was swimming in Patrick Mahomes cards, and I was like, this is awesome.
Nice. All right. So let us know in the comments, guys, if you have any other questions that you want us to cover, especially for Steve, the card genie, the card wizard. So we wrapped up all the divisions in football. I did see someone. Let's quickly just touch on soccer. I did see a question that it was basically wrapped around soccer pricing has been down. How do you see that kind of going, in the next couple of months, next few months? And that was basically kind of the gist of the question: is soccer cards rebound or no, or what's kind of the short-term, long-term prognosis? And I'm not necessarily talking about the vintage stuff that you're picking up, because I know a lot of that's like long-term type stuff. But what about, I guess, if we're talking like 2016 Prism or 2015 products and newer, modern, ultra-modern stuff?
Oh, actually, soccer vintage is moving right now. It's going up. Stuff that I was buying last month is now off my radar because it's gone up. So the vintage market is pretty good. The new market is actually strong. A lot of young players are going up. So I guess the comment said the soccer market was soft. I mean, it might be soft in spots. I think as an entirety, as a whole, or as a majority, I think the soccer card market is up. If you're referring to 2014 Prism, yes, 2014 Prism is down. It's down a lot. But young hot rookies like Giovanni Reina, Erling Haaland, they're not rookies this year, but Erling Haaland and a lot of these guys, they're up. They're really up. So it just depends on what part of the market you're talking about in specific. The market as an entirety is up. 2014 Prism is down. 2016 Prism is down. Basically, Prism is down. These Prism sets that really shot up, they're down.
Well, so if it's like a new baseline for it, right? It's like
if that's a majority of what you're investing in, then I can see you saying, yeah, the soccer card market is down. However, to put this in perspective, I touched on this in a video once. A lot of I don't like saying content creators, but a lot of people have talked about the Prism market crashing. Okay, it was here, and now it's here. Oh my God, it's crashed. They only show graphs on their videos from the peak. Okay, this is what I want a lot of people to understand and not worry. They only show the peak, and then they show the dip, and they say it's crashed. They don't show the rise. They don't show the original starting point.
Right.
They never do. All these graphs that I see a lot of people pulling up and being like, 2014 Prism has tanked. Okay, it started at the bottom. You could buy those Messis and those Neymars for $5. Okay, yes, a PSA 10 Messi sold for $4,000, and now it might be down to $1,000. However, the original price it's not down to the original price. It hasn't come back down to where it started.
Plus, a lot of that had to be just a supply deal. Because if you think about it, like how many. So when it got hot, there weren't that many PSA 10 Messis to buy, and then as people got them graded, quickly getting them graded, supply goes up naturally. You have, pricing comes down with the supply. Mm-hmm. But when they shot up like that, how many were out in the market? 40 or 50 of them?
Right.
So you couldn't get them. And
a really key card to look at from the 2014 Prism set, and it's because he's not a GOAT, but he is one of the better players, and that's the Neymar card. The Neymar card was, when I was buying them, they were $9 raw. So I was buying Neymar's 2014 Prism for $9 raw. When the Messi and the Ronaldos got up to like $300 and $400 raw, now mind you, those were $5 to begin with. They hit $400, $500 raw prices. The Neymar got up over $100 raw. Now it's back down to maybe a $30 or $40 raw card. So people are like, oh my God, the Neymar has gone down 60%.
Yeah,
that card was 10x.
It's up. Yeah, exactly.
It was 10x. It's still 4 or 5x, and that's the thing that people don't show the first half of that graph. They'd be like, it was here, and now it's down 60%, but they don't show the 100% that it went up. The 10x that it went. That card's still sitting at 4 or 5x if you bought it.
1,000% it went up. Yeah. No, I got you. No, absolutely. I agree. There's been definitely a new floor established, and that new floor for a lot of players and cards is 3, 4, 5 times what it was.
Yeah. And a lot of times when a new floor is established, that just means if a secondary spike comes, that secondary spike will be higher than the first spike. And then it'll come back down to a new floor that'll be even higher than the second floor. And it'll be a trend. It happens. It'll go in and out with the seasons and things like that.
Steve, Keith All has a 2 Spectrum RPA number 7. He's having a hard time deciding to sell or hold. Any advice? He played great Sunday. Steve might make an offer to you, Keith, for that.
Yeah, I know. I know where you can send that if you are having a hard time or you're tired of looking at it. But yeah,
that's funny.
Sell or hold? Did you pull it out of a pack? Did you buy it? How much for it? Are you invested into it? I mean, you don't have to tell me how much you bought for it, but I mean, just or how much you spent on it. But if you pulled it out of a pack, it would probably be a good sell just because you're going to make so much money, and you don't know what's going to happen next week.
Right.
I pulled a monster Justin Herbert card. I sold it. I pulled it out of a pack and I put it at auction. It went for $760. I could have made more.
He said it was a group break pull.
Group break pull. So,
do you need it for your mortgage? That'll be my next question.
My thing is there if you can use it to reinvest in some more players that you're confident in, or a PC item, I'm not really sure what you like, but if you can use it to diversify a little bit, if you have a lot, if that one card can get you a lot of or a nice little chunk of change to diversify, that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's what I think that's what a lot of guys have been doing over the last, guys and gals. Excuse me, we do have female viewers as well.
What?
I know.
That's not what my demographic says.
I know. I think that
that's the ones that say, "Hey, I need a boyfriend" in the comments.
The 6 females that have subscribed to my channel are all in my family.
Do you get those? I get those comments all the time. Hey, I need a boyfriend. Hey, I don't have a boyfriend. I have to remove them instantly. They're like spam or something.
Yeah. See, I didn't know anything about YouTube at all when I started, and it wasn't those at first. It was just regular ones that were like great video, and I didn't realize it was just a bot or a spam bot thing. And, so I was like, thanks. Like I had no idea. But you live and learn. All right, what were we just talking about? We were on something. We got off of it.
We were on the football divisions, and then we got into some soccer.
I think that
we started talking about the Tua card.
A lot of guys and gals, a few gals. I saw Michelle the Collector was watching. I don't know if she's still watching, but we do have some females that do watch the show.
You do.
Well, I think that a lot of kind of that that strategy is take the gains, buy more cards. That's really been a lot of the the reinvest into other cards and try to make something out of those. And that's really been what I've had a lot of fun with that over the last couple of years. I mean, that's really, been because I don't have, it's like what Steve said, I don't have, $100 grand that I'm just ready to go roll into cards. I just don't have it. So the only way I can, do it is to kind of move some cards around, sell some cards, and then buy in other players.
Yeah. And, like with me, if I'll make some big sales, I'll actually take a percentage of my profits and put it aside and then reinvest the rest.
What about hockey? So for me, I'm more looking, and I've talked about this in some of my videos lately. I had a Wayne Gretzky Topps rookie card, an SGC 6.5. I had it over the last 12 months. I bought it actually about 18 months ago, and I sold it about a year ago. And that's a card that I want back. And I not a high grade. I'm not looking for a PSA 9 or something, but maybe a PSA 6. There are certain players that I'm looking at. There's probably 3 or 4 hockey guys that I'm looking at as potentials. I don't know about you. So Steve, for you, do you have any hockey? Are you targeting any hockey at this point?
Okay, I've done 0 with hockey. I was into hockey back in the 90s during junk wax. But today I actually searched up a card and actually added a couple listings to my watch list. I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but there is one card that has piqued my interest a little bit. So yeah, just one player, one card, and not much else. And it's I mean, I'll tell you, it's just Mario Lemieux rookie.
Yeah.
There's the tops and the O-Pg. I think the tops is pretty affordable if you want it in an 8 or better. I don't know. I just remember when I was growing up, there was an argument over who the best was, Lemieux or Gretzky, at least for a stretch. So, I mean, I know the all-time GOAT is Gretzky.
Yeah.
But Lemieux was a really good player. So at one time it was I kind of look at it as maybe like LeBron and Kobe. You know, some people actually do say Kobe is better than LeBron. The comments are about to blow up and say flipping Steve, Kobe is better than LeBron. You're stupid. But you know, they played together at the same time. They both did great things, but probably the entire career will probably, you know, just like go to Gretzky over Lemieux, will go to LeBron over Kobe. Now, I'm not going to talk about LeBron and Jordan. That's a whole different subject.
Yeah. The thing with hockey is those cards have gone up. A lot of the important cards have definitely gone up over the last year, along with the other cards, along with the other sports.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many. I mean, like Wayne Gretzky has some very very affordable cards in comparison, you know, to Michael Jordan or, you know, to Kobe. And, you know, are hockey cards ever going to catch basketball cards? Probably not. I know Jeremy at Sportscards Live is probably going to be mad that I said that, but I don't think that they'll catch up as far as the popularity goes. But I think that, look, if you're talking about the GOAT, you know, I mean, I'm going to take a look at some of his stuff outside of his rookie card as well. I'm going to look a little harder at hockey just to diversify a little bit, you know, and I do like the vintage stuff anyway. So I'll just take a look at it.
Yeah, if I touched on hockey, it would be the guys that I remembered when I used to watch. I did watch in the early to mid 90s. I did collect then. I haven't really paid attention to hockey since the Flyers were swept by the Red Wings. I think it was in '94. And I just stopped. I just quit. I was like, man, Flyers suck. But that was the guys: Lemieux, Gretzky, Eric Lindros at the time was the stud on the Flyers. Steve Yzerman, that's the guy who crushed us in that Red Wings, and his cards are pretty good too.
Yeah, Mark Messier.
Yeah, Messier. Mark Messier is another one.
Jaromir Jagr. I see him in the comments. I remember Jagr was he was a beast.
Those are Jagr, but unfortunately Jagr falls into the junk wax, I think.
That's like Sergei Fedorov. Same story.
Yeah, he does too.
Guys.
A lot of good guys. Player John LeClaire, Jeremy Roenick, Paul Correa, Teemu Selanne. I can go on and on with a lot of these really good players.
Yeah.
That fall into that. But just a lot of the guys, I guess, that remind me of old football or my era of football. Dan Marino, John Elway, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith. Those guys I would buy. That's who I would buy in hockey, that same era of players.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't mess with much of the new stuff just because I don't know the guys. I've heard of them. I've heard of Connor McDavid. I don't live under a rock, but, you know.
There's a Sidney Crosby guy. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah. Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin. But I also consider those guys to be like the older guys in the league now, I would think. And, you know, I guess it would be like LeBron to basketball, where they're the older guys in the league. And these new guys are like the Lucas and stuff like that.
All right, guys, we're coming up to the 90-minute mark. Throw any other questions that you might have in the comments. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes or so.
Any out of the box stuff? I got an out of the box video coming up, actually.
Oh, are you talking about what, tags?
Just out of the box stuff that's not necessarily mainstream type cards or sports. Just the little, I call them nuggets because they could turn out to be gold or crap.
Did you see I bought a Ninja Turtles action figure from 1988?
A who?
It's not a card. I got a 1988 Ninja Turtles action figure. Like the first,
no, I didn't see it.
Like a first, the first year that they did those. I think I'm going to get it graded. There's a couple grading companies that do that. Charles is talking about Marvel cards. So yeah, Marvel cards definitely. I think it's just the rare ones. That's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of junk wax Marvel cards that I had. I had some of those, but I think there's also like PMG Hulks and stuff. So kind of like that '90s insert, type stuff. I would take a look at something like that. I would zag on something like that if it
I
was.
had some early to mid '90s Marvel stuff, and I think it was massively produced. However, like one of the sets, I think might have had like 5 hollows in it, so maybe those hollows could be rare. I'm not even really sure on that, but yeah, I haven't done much with the Marvel. If I was to get into Marvel, it would probably get me back into comic books. I was one time an avid comic book collector. I still got boxes of them.
I have some of that stuff. I don't have tons of it, but I probably got 60 graded comic books. I've got a decent amount of stuff.
Yeah, none of mine are graded. I haven't done anything with them. They're just still in boxes. Running series, I used to get the same issues every month. So, I have all of them in like numerical order of a lot of different titles.
Hot take right here, Pokemon cards, is it going to flop? Like, and the reason why I say that is because like there's just been so much attention on it. And is it something like, is it just kind of building and then it's just going to be like a massive like bleh? What are your thoughts? And I'm not talking about like the real rare stuff. I think the super rare stuff, I think that'll be fine. Just like with sports cards, the super rare stuff, Honus Wagners aren't going down anytime soon, in my opinion. I think that they're just rare enough, iconic stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, anything else. Anything. I'm just curious on your thoughts on it. And this is just kind of like, what's your thought today?
Well, I recently found all my Pokemon cards. I'm grading and selling mine as fast as I can.
Okay.
Just because I have nothing investing in them but the grading fee, because basically they're all pulled out of packs. So I'm not buying them raw for some big prices on eBay and grading them. So mine are going to be, anything that I sell is going to be pretty much 100% profit other than the grading fee. And some of these I've rushed through. I sent in 6 of them the other day, $75 a card to get graded, the quick turnaround. So, because I want to get them back, I want to sell them while it's hot. I don't know if it'll get any hotter. It might get hotter, but I never look back with regret. If I sell it now and I make really good money on it, I won't look in 2 months from now and be like, damn, if I would have held it, I would have doubled up again. I would just be like, hey, I got my money. I got what I got out of it. Because I could be left holding it and nobody might not want it anymore. So Pokemon's just not my thing. If Pokemon was my thing and that's what I collected and that's what I did, then I might buy and hold them, but that's not what I do. I don't know anything about new Pokemon. So
well, and I guess my wonder with that is is there a strong enough collector base to keep that going? Because I know you have a lot of flippers, you have investors that are in it.
mm-hmm.
Now, I know there's also a percentage of people though that are long-term holds on it. They're long-term, which to me a long-term hold is a collector. I mean that's you're kind of talking about the same thing. When you talk about a PC, it's a long-term hold on something. So how many people are and another reason why I bring that up too is because that's a younger generation that has that nostalgia. Like I have a 33-year-old brother. He's the one that collected Pokemon cards. It wasn't me. That was after me.
It was after me too. Like I never played it or collected it. So I only got the cards because I work in a store that sold the packs.
So how many 30-year-olds are really like digging deep and they're going to collect these long term? I mean, maybe there's a lot. I think that's just the part we don't know.
The only thing that I would say is that Pokemon is still going. They're still putting out video games. They just put out a movie like last year.
Oh, massive.
So it's still really going strong. So you still have young kids still coming into Pokemon that someday might get old enough to be like, hey, I want to buy some of this old vintage Pokemon. Like to us, we talk about vintage football. They may talk about vintage Pokemon. So that could be something that keeps the market strong. But with me, to me, it's just a sell for me right now because I have no personal attachment to it.
Right. Yeah, it's a straight buy-sell deal.
Now, a couple oddball things. Rumor has it, and some people have said the rumor is true, is They're going to do a Stone Cold Steve Austin documentary, and it's going to be done by the same people that did the Last Dance documentary.
Wow,
There is some value in some
right.
wrestling cards. If you look at some wrestling cards, the Hulk Hogan's and Ric Flairs and stuff, even the Rock stuff, those cards are expensive. Graded, they're expensive.
Okay.
And now Stone Cold Steve Austin cards are going up in value. If you look at eBay, they're really going up. I don't know if I have one right here in front of me, but there was a card I bought for $20 off ComC. Anyway, there's a Stone Cold card I bought off ComC a long time ago. Oh, here it is. It's this yellow one. You've probably seen it.
Yeah.
It's a 97. It's from a trivia game. This is a PSA 8. And I bought it off ComC for $20. At the time, I was like, I don't know. It's neat. I'll probably get stuck with it forever, but it's neat. This in a GMA 8 just sold for like $120. And that's a GMA 8.
Wow.
This is a PSA 8. So I'm looking at probably, if I could probably, I know I could get 120 for it if a GMA 8 sold for that much. So,
right.
And it was a $20 buy-in. If you look on eBay, like his stuff has astronomically priced listings. Just because it's a listing doesn't mean it's a sale. So when you see people listing stuff for thousands of dollars, it doesn't mean that's the value on it, because people are just trying to get people to buy on impulse. Oh my God, there's a Stone Cold Steve Austin documentary coming up. I better buy that before it's worth that much, So that type of take on it. But I do think there'll be some value in this type of stuff, because you are seeing some of the auctions go off at hundreds of dollars on cards that were $20 a couple months ago. And so I'm picking up a couple guys that he might talk about in his documentary. Same way some of the players in the Bulls team, because wrestling has a big fan base, whether it's fake, whether it's entertainment, they're athletes, they're entertainers, whatever you want to call it. It has a huge fan base, kids, grown-ups, everybody. So it just takes something to bring it to the forefront. Just like Chicago Bulls cards, Dennis Rodman cards. It took something to bring Dennis Rodman to the forefront, and then his cards were like, boom. Now it's a buy and a sell. It's not a buy and hold Stone Cold Steve Austin forever, because we saw what happened to a lot of the Bulls cards after the documentary was over.
Yeah.
But I think if you can get on some cheaper wrestlers that he may talk about, I know he's really good friends with Brock Lesnar. He'll probably talk about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has a lot more going for him than a wrestling career. Not only was he a dominant wrestling career, collegiate wrestler, WWE superstar, UFC heavyweight champion, and he tried out for the Minnesota Vikings. So Brock Lesnar cards you can get super cheap. I mean, like this 2002 right here is a rookie card of his. It's like $5. And this also comes with another version that has a piece of event-worn shirt on it from the same set this came from, which was the Royal Rumble, which I just bought one of those off eBay today for $10. It's not here yet. I just actually bought it today. So I'm buying a couple of those. I'll show you not sneaky, but this card lists on eBay for a lot of money, and I'll show you a good loophole that you might be able to find it at a discount. I can't pull up a picture or show you a picture, but there's a 1993 Steve Austin card, and it comes in a magazine like the Sports Illustrated cards have. And I did some research on this card, and this card is selling raw all day long. Lots of bids, and they're pushing 160, 180, 200 in a raw state. Wow. And it comes out of the 1993 WCW Wrestling Yearbook. It's this card up here in the upper left-hand corner. It's perforated in there. It just says Steve Austin, so I got to cut it out. But this entire magazine I was able to pick up for like $60, because people don't realize the magazine sellers and magazine collectors are just buying this for the magazine.
Yeah.
The magazine people, the people selling the magazine don't realize that there's a Stone Cold card in here that they could bust out and sell for more than their entire magazine.
Wow.
So if you can search this magazine or this yearbook up, you can buy this yearbook, for half the price of just the single. And you're also getting Cactus Jack's first card, which is Mick Foley, who's another guy that Steve Austin will talk about. You're getting a first Gold Dust card in here. So if you're a wrestling fan, you know who these guys are that I'm talking about. You may not know, but
you basically have sealed wax right there with that magazine.
But there's just a lot of other wrestling cards in here that could have potential, along with the Steve Austin for half the price if you were just to go buy Steve Austin. So I saw that card listed and I was like, man, what magazine does it come out of? And I had to do some research and find it. But then I found it, and then I searched up the magazine on eBay, and there was one sitting right there. And I was like, wow, I'm surprised somebody didn't see this already.
Always a game. That's awesome, man.
But yeah, now somebody said Brock Lesnar has football cards, which he does. He has like a Leaf Rookies and Stars and like a UD Sweet Spot, and they sell for good money, and not because he was a good football player. However, they're printed 2004 rookie cards, and his wrestling rookie cards are 2002. So the wrestling card was printed earlier. If you're looking for a first print of him, his football cards do sell for a lot of money. Leaf Rookies and Stars 2004 Upper Deck Sweet Spot, I think, is numbered out of $9.99. That one sells raw probably over $100. So
now, is that just wrestling fans that are buying that up, you think?
I don't know. I think it's Brock Lesnar fans. So when I say Brock Lesnar fans, that could come from all different walks. That could come from collegiate wrestling, because you have a lot of hardcore collegiate wrestling fans. That could come from WWE. That could come from UFC. That could come from somebody who just wants a novelty card. I want that card, that Vikings card, because it's a Brock Lesnar card. That's a novelty card. Brock Lesnar in a football outfit, So yeah. I think it hits multiple markets.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. Any more Zag type stuff that you want to talk about before we wrap up, or do you want to keep it to yourself for another few weeks?
No, I never hide my stuff. But I mean, we talked about this one on the last live stream. This video is actually in the works. It might be my next post, and it's my WNBA investments. Somebody did talk about ask about the WNBA Prism earlier. I steered clear of the modern WNBA stuff. It's hot. People are buying it. But I'm buying the stuff that everybody else isn't buying. That's the key to getting ahead. So, if everybody's buying the Prisms, I look at it like soccer. I'm going to relate this to soccer a little bit. 2020 Prism Diana Taurasi card is super hot right now. 2014 Prism Messi soccer card was super hot. So was Ronaldo. The best players were super hot. 2020 Prisms of the WNBA players are all super hot. People are going to discover that they have rookie cards back in the early 2000s, in the late 90s, just like they did with Messi and Ronaldo. And they started chasing these older stickers and things like that. And the Prism cards took a dive, and these older cards spiked. People are going to be like, okay, Dana Taurasi has a 2004 Flair Ultra. Elena Deladonna has a 2013 Sports Illustrated auto card. These Prisms are hot because of the first Prisms of the Prism. But I see the overinvestment and the dip coming, and I see people going back to chase these true rookie cards and the spike coming back there. That's me. You could disagree with me. That's fine. But right now, some of these price points on these WNBA rookie cards are too low to ignore, in my opinion. Maya Moore rookie card graded, you can buy for $15. Cynthia Cooper, who's considered the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. She's retired, but she's the GOAT in most people's eyes. Her rookie cards graded can be bought for $20. To me, that's too low of a price point to ignore. When Diana Taurasi, Silver Prism 2020 is selling for $50 to $70, you can go back and buy a PSA 8 Flair Ultra rookie of hers. Now her cards are a little up there, little over $100, but that card, the pop on that card is ridiculous. And the difficulty to get that card graded anything better than an 8 is also ridiculous because those cards were just unopened product that got trashed by the manufacturer, or they were opened and trashed or damaged. I can tell you, I used to work for Pepsi Cola, and I used to distribute. And I remember the card distributor would come in when I would come in. And in 1997 was when they released the Pinnacle WNBA cards, and they came in a can, like a tin can, like a soup can almost. You open the can had a superstar on the outside. You would open the can, there would be a pack inside. That guy brought those in and put them on the shelf. And I must have worked for Pepsi for 2 years at the same store delivering, and they sat there. Nobody bought them. And I would see clearance labels go up on them. Nobody bought them. They went till eventually where they just either got sent off to a secondary store like an Ollie's or a, one of those types of stores.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, like an Ollie's or they're just stores where junk kind of goes, and then people might buy it. They might not.
Like Tuesday, like there's one like Tuesday Morning or
yeah, they're probably different all over the country. But anyway, a lot of that product was destroyed and never bought and stuff. And anything that got opened was very condition sensitive. And that was the first year of WNBA cards, not 2020 Prism. So there's some really good rookie cards in that. Here is the Cynthia Cooper right here from that Pinnacle set. This is an 8.5. I paid $20 for it. I might be out $20. I don't care. To me, it's worth the gamble, even if it goes up to $100. Even if it goes up to $50. It doesn't take much to double your money on a $20 investment. That's just the way I look at it. Maya Moore, she's got a card, one of those McDonald's high school All-American cards. This is a 9.5 BGS. I bought this for like next to nothing. She's considered a top 5 WNBA player ever. Plus, she's doing all kinds of human rights and things and all that now. So she's in the news with that.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorites, Lena Deladonna. This is 2013. It came out of the Sports Illustrated. It is auto. It's got the PSA authentic auto up here.
Nice.
Yeah, she was the 2019 MVP. And so she's the most recent MVP. And her team won the championship. And she's also from the university right here in Delaware and played high school right here. So she's a local favorite. So I like her stuff because of that.
Nice. All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up. We're at an hour and about 48 minutes. So
there's the Taurasi. That's the Taurasi right there.
Yeah, that's sweet. Those are good. Yeah, I like your viewpoint on the WNBA stuff. That's good. All right. Hey, guys, come stick with us next time. I have Steve on usually, I don't know, every 3 weeks or so, and we do a show, and it's a lot of fun. So we will be back on again. And we appreciate you tuning in. If you have not been to Flipping Steve's YouTube channel, go and check out, even if you only watch the intros of the videos, there's a lot of thought and effort that goes into those. So go back through his archive and watch all of those. They're good. But yeah, check out Flipping Steve's YouTube channel. Thank you again, guys, for tuning in, and we will see you again next time. Take care.
All right, later, guys.